Families don't need enemies. Sometimes the enemies sit at your own dinner table. My name's Ava, and if you've ever felt like the extra member of your family, the one they tolerate but never include, then my story will hit you like a punch to the chest. But trust me, by the time you hear what happened, you'll understand why missing that family vacation was the best thing that ever happened to me. And before I tell you the secret that turned the entire situation upside down, make sure you subscribe to Scarlight Stories so you don't miss part 2. It gets wild. Growing up, I was the middle child. Not the golden oldest, not the adored youngest, just there. Mom always said I was independent, but as I got older, I realized independent was her polite way of saying, we don't worry about you. We worry about your siblings. My brother, Liam, Mom practically ironed the air around him. My younger sister, Mia, Dad would move mountains if she wanted a different color toothbrush. Me? Figure it out, Ava. I didn't mind. Not at first. But I remembered every birthday they forgot, every school event nobody came to, every time I got sick and heard, "Can you handle it? We're busy." By the time I was 24, I'd stopped expecting anything. And then came the vacation incident. It was a normal Tuesday when the family group chat, which I was painfully still a part of, started buzzing. Mia, OMG, tickets booked. Liam, beach villa looks insane, LOL. Mom, this will be such a wonderful bonding week, emoji. Dad, finally, we all deserve this break. I frowned. All? I scrolled. Saw photos, links, confirmations. 7 plane tickets, a 9-room oceanfront villa, restaurant reservations for 8. I counted. Mom, Dad, Liam, Mia, their partners, my aunt and uncle. But not me. Not even a message asking if I could go. Not a, "Hey Ava, are these dates okay for you?" Nothing. I waited an hour. Maybe they'd say something. Maybe they forgot to mention my ticket. Maybe they expected me to respond and then surprise me. I refreshed. Mom, everyone confirm your dietary restrictions, please. Liam, Mia can't eat shrimp, remember? Mia, shut up! I waited another hour, then 2. Then it became painfully, humiliatingly clear. They didn't forget. They excluded me. Intentionally. So I typed the only message I was emotionally capable of sending at that moment. Have fun, guys. Mom, heart reacted it. Heart reacted. No explanation, no apology, no hesitation, just a little red heart on top of a sentence that basically said, "Thanks for ditching me. Enjoy." 2 days later, they left. I didn't get a call, not even a last-minute "wish you were here." Nothing. But here's the thing. For the first time in my life, their absence didn't break me. It freed me, because I had my own life brewing behind the scenes, a life they didn't know about, a life that was about to make their jaws hit the sandy floor of their luxury villa. See, while they were packing swimsuits and sunscreen, I was sitting in a glass-walled conference room high above the city across from 5 people in expensive suits, all staring at me like I was the most important person in the world. Because that day, I was. "Congratulations, Miss Hill," the lead investor said, sliding a folder toward me. "We are officially funding your project. Full amount, upfront." My hands shook. I wasn't sure if I was breathing. "You're serious?"
I whispered. She laughed. "Your design is groundbreaking. We'd be idiots to pass on it." And just like that, my architectural startup, Hillside Vision, something I had poured every sleepless night and every spare dollar into for 3 years, got a $2.8 million investment. Not $28,000, not $280,000, $2.8 million. While my family sipped fruity cocktails and took sunset selfies without me, I became the youngest woman in my state to secure that level of private funding in architecture. But the best part wasn't the money. The best part was the contract, the one clause I'd waited for my whole life. I had full, unquestioned ownership and authority. For the first time, I wasn't the forgotten child. I was the boss of something huge, and they had no idea. 3 days into their vacation, Mia posted a story of everyone laughing at dinner. I watched it while sitting at my new office desk, signing my final documents. I zoomed in. Mom smiling, Dad laughing, Aunt clinking her glass, my siblings stuffing their faces. My chest tightened, but not with sadness anymore, with clarity.
They didn't forget me. They dismissed me on purpose. And dismissal is a powerful motivator. So instead of crying, I snapped a picture of the signed investment contract, my name in bold print, my initials on every page, and sent it directly to the family group chat. Just one line attached. "Hope you're having fun." 10 seconds later, the typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared, reappeared, disappeared again, then all hell broke loose. Mom, "Ava, what is this?" Liam, "Holy, is this real?" Dad, "Why didn't you tell us?" Mia, "What do you mean, hope you're having fun?" And then, "Mom, why didn't you ask to come on the trip? We thought you were busy." Busy. They'd used my career, the same one they never asked about, as their excuse. For the first time in years, I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I let the typing bubbles blink uselessly. Then I typed slowly, clearly, and beautifully. "You didn't invite me, but don't worry. You'll all be seeing me very soon." They didn't know what that meant. Not yet, but they would. Because I had a reason to show up. A big one. A secret even bigger than the $2.8 million. A secret that was about to change everything they thought they knew about me. And trust me, when they found out, their vacation turned into a nightmare. My phone vibrated non-stop for the next 10 minutes. Missed calls, texts, voice notes. My entire family, the same people who boarded a plane without even checking if I wanted to come, were suddenly obsessed with reaching me. But I wasn't ready to talk. Not yet. Because the best part of my secret wasn't the investment. It was what the investment allowed me to do. And trust me, when they learned the truth, that luxury vacation of theirs would feel like the moment before a hurricane hits. 3 days later, I boarded a flight of my own. Not to chase them, not to show up uninvited, but because of an email I received from the villa's management team, one that made my jaw drop. It read, "Subject, Hillside Vision Coastal Expansion. Dear Miss Hill, we are delighted to confirm your scheduled site review at our Emerald Bay property. As discussed, your family's reserved villa will be included in the evaluation.
Welcome to Emerald Bay. We look forward to partnering with you. Coastal Holdings Development Group." I stared at the screen, rereading it 5 times. My family's reserved villa was now my project site? Was this real life? Because while my family had been drinking coconut water and posting beach pictures, I had become the lead architect on a multi-resort redesign project, A project that included the exact resort, the exact villa they were vacationing in. Meaning, the staff were expecting me. Management was expecting me. My project team was expecting me. But my family? They had no idea. And I wasn't about to warn them. When I arrived, the manager, a tall man with a crisp white uniform, greeted me with a warm smile. "Miss Hill, welcome. We've arranged a private shuttle to take you to Villa 9. Villa 9. Their villa." I cleared my throat. "Oh, perfect. Thank you." This was going to be fun. As the shuttle rolled through the property, families laughed, kids splashed in the pool, and the ocean shimmered bright blue in the distance. But my stomach twisted, not from nerves, from anticipation. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't payback. This was simply me walking into what was already mine, something they never bothered to see. The shuttle slowed. Villa 9 sat on a hill overlooking the ocean, huge glass windows reflecting sunlight like diamonds. A long infinity pool stretched around one side. It screamed wealth, luxury, importance, the kind of place my family thought I didn't belong in. 2 staff members rushed over. "Welcome, Ms. Hill. Your design team has already arrived." "My what?" I blinked. Sure enough, 3 architects stood in the foyer with laptops and blueprints. And right behind them, voices. Familiar voices. Laughing, talking. Unaware. My chest tightened. This was it.
"Miss Hill?" The manager whispered. "We can bring your team into the dining area. Your family is currently eating breakfast." I inhaled slowly. "Lead the way." We stepped inside. The villa opened into a massive dining space with floor-to-ceiling windows and a polished stone table. And there they were. Mom, Dad, Liam, Mia, their partners, my aunt, my uncle, surrounded by fruit platters and champagne. Mia saw me first. She dropped her fork. Ava? What are you doing here?" Everyone turned. Mom's jaw literally hung open. Dad stood so quickly his chair scraped the floor. "Ava? You flew here?" Before I could answer, the manager cheerfully announced, "Everyone, please welcome Miss Hill, lead architect for our Emerald Bay redevelopment project. Your villa is first on the review list." The silence was delicious. Liam choked on orange juice. Mom's face turned ghost white. Dad blinked, stunned. Mia whispered, "Lead architect?" I offered a small smile. "Yep, I'm here for work." Their eyes widened. Work. Work that mattered. Work that required me here. Work that made this villa my responsibility. Suddenly, their exclusive family vacation didn't feel so exclusive. Mum stood, recovering faster than the rest. "Sweetheart, you should have told us you were coming. We would have—" "Invited me?" I said flatly. She froze. Dad cleared his throat. "Ava, look, we didn't think you'd want to come. You're always so busy with work." "Busy working on a multi-million-dollar project?" I said. "Yes, I am." Liam muttered under his breath, "Holy crap." Mia crossed her arms, suddenly defensive. "So what? You're remodeling the resort? Who cares?" But the manager answered for me. "Miss Hill will oversee the full redevelopment, from architecture to interior planning. This villa is the priority." "That's correct," the manager nodded. "And all guests must cooperate during the site inspection." Mia scoffed. "Wait, are you saying Ava can tell us what to do?" The manager smiled. "Yes, for the duration of the project, Miss Hill has full authority." I nearly laughed.
This was better than any revenge plan I could have designed. Mom suddenly snapped. Well, this is just ridiculous. We came here to relax, not deal with construction. I finally stepped deeper into the room, and for the first time, my voice didn't shake. Relax? You didn't even ask if I wanted to come. You didn't even tell me. Mom flinched. We just assumed you'd say no. Why? Because you don't think about me unless you need something? Everyone went quiet. I continued. You excluded me, then acted confused when I didn't magically appear? Now you're upset because my presence actually matters here? Dad ran a hand through his hair. Ava, honey, we messed up. You sure did, Mia muttered, earning a glare. Mom reached for me. Ava, please, we didn't know. You never tell us anything about your life. I stared at her. My voice came out soft, but sharp. That's because you never asked. Silence again. Painful. Thick. Then the manager stepped forward politely. Miss Hill, shall we begin the tour? I nodded. Yes, let's. Then I turned back toward my stunned family and dropped the bomb that nearly knocked them off their chairs. Oh, and one more thing. This project, it's not just a redesign. Their eyes widened. I smiled. It comes with a permanent residency perk, meaning I'll be here a lot. Mom nearly fainted. Mia's mouth fell open. Dad whispered, You're moving here? I smiled wider. Not permanently, but enough that you'll definitely be seeing me again. Their vacation was no longer their escape. It was my territory.
And they had no idea the final twist was still coming. Because the biggest secret of all, I wasn't just redesigning the villa. I was buying part of the entire resort. My family stared at me like I just flipped the entire villa upside down. In a way, I had. But they had no idea. The shock they felt now was nothing compared to what was coming next. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Scarlight Stories, because the ending of this story, you're not ready. The resort manager led my design team and me toward the outdoor patio for the initial site walkthrough. Behind us, my family followed like confused ducklings who'd lost their mother. Mom whispered harshly, Ava, you should have told us. This is embarrassing. I didn't slow down. Embarrassing that your daughter has a career? Dad sighed heavily. That's not what she meant. But I'd spent my whole life swallowing my pain so they could stay comfortable. Not today. The team opened the blueprints, laying them across the outdoor table. Ms. Hill, one of the architects said, do you want to begin with the structural overview first or jump straight to the ownership announcement? My family froze. Mom blinked hard. Ownership what? I inhaled slowly, savoring the moment. Let's start with structure, I said. Their shoulders relaxed. Too early, because the truth I was holding, it would knock the air out of their lungs. We walked around the villa. I pointed out outdated designs, safety hazards, modernization needs, and energy inefficiencies. My tone was firm, professional, nothing like the quiet middle child they were used to ignoring. Mia rolled her eyes every 5 minutes. Liam followed me around like I'd grown a second head. Mom kept whispering to Dad, did you know she knew things like this? I didn't know she knew things like this. And Dad kept whispering back, I didn't either. She never talks to us. I finally turned. You never asked. They went silent. After the inspection, the manager cleared his throat. Now, Ms. Hill, the ownership portion? My family turned toward me so fast, I thought their necks would snap. Ownership, Dad repeated. Ava, what does that mean? I smiled. A calm, controlled smile I'd practiced 1,000 times in a mirror. It means, I said gently, I'm not just redesigning this resort. They stared. I'm not just managing the project. They stared harder. I'm also one of the new owners. The explosion of reactions was immediate. Mom gasped. Liam dropped his sunglasses. Mia laughed, loud and disbelieving. Ava, stop. You're joking. You own this place? The manager stepped in. He's not joking. Ms. Hill purchased a 30% stake in the resort during the investment round. Dad's jaw dropped. 30? My heart pounded, but this moment was mine. Yes, I said. My startup's valuation allowed me to become a major shareholder, which means this resort, including this villa, is partly mine. Mom grabbed onto Dad's arm like she needed help standing. You own part of a luxury resort? She whispered. I raised an eyebrow. You didn't think I was capable of that, did you? They didn't answer. They didn't need to. Their silence said everything. We moved back into the villa to finalize the meeting. My family trailed behind me, shock still choking them. As we reached the dining table, the resort manager cleared his throat again. One more item on the agenda, Ms. Hill. I nodded. Yes, the guest adjustment policy. Mom perked up. What's that? I turned to them, folding my arms gently. For weeks, this villa has been over capacity, I said, gesturing to the crowd at the table. Too many guests, not enough authorization. Dad blinked. What does that mean? It means, the manager added, only registered guests approved by a shareholder can stay during redesign periods. Oh, good, Mom exhaled. We're already registered. You were, I corrected. They froze. I continued evenly. But since renovation prep begins today, guest lists must be reapproved. I have the power to adjust who stays and who gets relocated. Mom stiffened. Ava, you wouldn't. I held her gaze. Would I? Mia jumped in, arms crossed. You're not kicking us out, Ava. Dad paid a lot for this trip. Dad nodded quickly. Look, honey, we made a mistake with not inviting you, but... A mistake? I repeated softly. You intentionally left me out of a family trip. You didn't even ask if I wanted to come. You didn't care. No one argued. Not this time. I stepped closer to them. You made me feel small, unwanted, invisible. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Inva, please. I took a breath. And now, I'm giving you exactly what you gave me. Her breathing hitched. What do you mean? I smiled politely. I've arranged for a transfer. Dad blinked. A transfer? Yes, I said. You're all being moved to a standard suite. Mom gasped. A suite? But this villa is now a restricted project site, I said, and you're not cleared to stay here. Mia stomped her foot. This is ridiculous. The manager raised a hand. It's already arranged. Your belongings will be moved. Dad looked crushed. He swallowed hard. Ava, is there anything we can say to change your mind? I stared at him, really stared. This man who had loved me quietly, but never loudly enough to make me feel seen. Maybe, I said softly, but you didn't ask me until now. He lowered his head. Mom broke first. She rushed forward, grabbing my hands. Ava, we're sorry. We should have treated you better. We should have asked more. We should have included you. Please, please don't shut us out. Her voice cracked at the end, and for the first time in years, I felt heard. Completely. Because this moment, this wasn't revenge. This was clarity. I gently squeezed her hands. I'm not shutting you out, I whispered. I'm showing you what it feels like when your presence is optional to the people you love.
Tears streamed down her cheeks. Ava, we'll do better. I promise. Dad stepped in. "We're proud of you. So proud. We just didn't know how much we were losing you." I nodded slowly. "Then start proving it." They all nodded. Quiet. Humbled. Changed. As they left the villa, suitcase wheels rolling behind them, Mia stopped and looked back. "So, can we ever stay here again?" I grinned. "Maybe." She raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean, maybe?" I winked. "Depends on how you treat me." When the door finally closed, the manager turned to me. "That was impressive, Ms. Hill." I exhaled shakily. It was necessary, because sometimes the only way to teach people your worth is to stop letting them treat you like you don't have any. And that's how the daughter nobody invited became the woman they could never ignore again. The end. If you loved this story and want more shocking, empowering endings, make sure you subscribe to Scarlight Stories.